You'll see cars from the past and the future from Back to the Future. We got the Flintstones family automobiles. We even have our newest addition, the Ford Anglia from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. That's one of 17 and a half cars used in the making of that film. You'll see on your left-hand side, we got the gyrosphere from Jurassic World. Now that looks a little different, and that's because there's no glass. The glass was added in post-production through CGI, computer-generated imagery, and that was because the glass would reflect the cameras and the lights during production. Now finally, that last vehicle, the Bradley Fighting Vehicle, is made of plywood and paint, made to look like a big hunk of metal. Now I've shown you some of our Metro Jurassic Park. If you'll see, it is also plywood and paint, and you'll see around the windows it's actually splintering. Now on your, oops, they're gone. Oh, there they are. We've got our friends here to greet you. Now, if you'll take a look in this scene, you'll see that mobile lab that I was just pointed out. And now this is the time I want you to remember back to that parking deck I pointed out early on the tour. Because you'll remember from this scene that this is going over a cliff. Well, I'm going to pause it right here and show you. This cliff that this mobile lab is falling off of is actually that parking deck that I pointed out on the front of the lot. This is just another example of how they use every inch of it in the rain. Well, personally, I've kissed someone with wet socks. It's not that great. But let's go on into Old Mexico, and I'm going to show you how we make rain here on the back lot. I'm going to put in the codes for the thunder and the lightning. And the way that you do thunder and lightning is just strobe lights and speakers. Nowadays, they do use add the thunder in post-production a little more. But for this effect, you're going to see it through speakers and strobe lights. And now I'm going to put in the code for the rain, because the thunder and the lightning comes from the strobe lights and speakers, and the rain comes from sprinklers that shoots the water straight up into the air, and it falls naturally like raindrops. Take a look. There we go. And now the sun is actually helping me make my point, because if you want raindrops to show up on camera, you give them a little backlighting, and you can see those big chunky raindrops on camera very easily. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn this effect off, because it's one of our older effects, and it tends to overflood if it runs too long. Uh-oh. Reese, my button's stuck. Do you have a button to turn it off? You don't? Okay. No worries, folks. It usually doesn't overflood, but I just have an abundance of caution. I'll just fiddle with it a little. Okay, so it overflooded. Nobody panic. It's okay. It usually never gets into the track. I say usually. I could be wrong. I'm just kidding. That's just another practical effect. You might recognize it from this scene from Big Fat Liar, starring Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and This World, just to name a few of its famous credits. Now we're going to head out of Old Mexico and head into the Old West. Welcome to 6 Points. 6 Points is some of our oldest sets here on the back lot, and it's called 6 Points because it had 6 distinct streets, each of which was set up to be an old western town. It had everything you needed in a western town: a sheriff's office, a jail, a bank, and of course a saloon, because what would be an old western without a saloon fight? And because it was the silent pictures, you could film on each street at the same time. They would make up to 250 movies a year out here. Now if you look at the doors here, you're going to see another example of forced perspective. Now the doors are much smaller than regular doors, and that's because they used to want their cowboys to be big and burly and strong, but if they were only 5'3", you put them in a little tiny door and they look like they fill up the door frame. Now, as also they like their women to be petite and demure back in the day. Thank goodness we don't think that way anymore. But if you had a 5'10" leading lady, you put her in a giant door and she looks tiny. So you put the lady in the big door, the man in the little door, and we all look the same. So that's how they do a little bit of that movie magic here in 6 Points. Now as we make our way on out of 6 Points, direct your gaze to the left-hand side. You're going to see a facade, which is just the front and the sides of the building. The Voice, starring Blake Shelton and John Legend. Now if you look right in front of those sound stages, you're going to see Park Lake, which is nicknamed the Hollywood Ocean, because that body of water has played any number of bodies of water. So they gave us special permission to come in here, but do remain seated at all times. and keep a firm grasp on all of your belongings. Now on your left-hand side, now looking around, it looks like we are in a subway station, and by judging by those payphones, we must be in a period piece from the 80s or 90s. Now, it's really interesting to see the set dressing here because folks, don't worry, that's just a little trimmer. We get those from time to time in Southern California. Okay, so this is more than just a little trimmer. Maybe one time. If you've got multiple children, pick your favorite, just in case people start buying out. Oh no. Everybody, stay calm. Oh, this is a big one, y'all. I'm kind of freaking out. We're in danger, y'all. Oh, look, the water didn't flow. Yay! Disaster ensues. So, as we say in the sound, we were just pulling your leg. That wasn't real life. But it was used in this episode of Bones. Take a look. Now, in this scene, they start off in the soundstage on the front lawn in a subway car, and then they come to this stage. Oh no, Zach! Zach! Get out of the water, Zach! Zach! Oh no, Zach! Oh gosh. Well, I lost another one. I lose more boyfriends that way than I can count. My life is so hard. Incidentally, I'm ready to mingle and single if you want to go scuba diving sometime with me. But first, we got to get away from the shark, okay? We're going to hide behind these barrels of gasoline. That'll keep us safe. We've got some bait right out there on the dock. The shark will take the bait. Just like I said, he took the bait. Oh, he took the dock. Okay, well, we're safe, folks. No need to panic. Well, sharks are afraid of fire. That's a thing, right? That's a thing. No need to panic. Okay, now panic. There's a shark in the water. Oh, thank goodness we've got Reese. He knows exactly what it is. Arms away. And of course, I was kidding yet again. That wasn't a real shark attack. We're going to head up what's known as Steven Spielberg Drive. Now, this just continues a tradition of the studio naming their roads and streets after some of their most successful artists like directors, writers, and actors. Now, take a look.
The airplane press site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay?
Now, this was an actual 747 that's been decommissioned, and it was bought by production and brought in from the Mojave Desert, where they have a large airplane graveyard. Now, it cost the production $60,000 to buy $1,000 to get it flown in, or driven in. And that's really where they get you, folks. The shipping and handling, you always gotta buy local. Now, as we make our way out of the world set, I want everybody to take their lake. And the reason it's known as Falls Lake is because in front of that screen, there's a huge basin that can hold up to 2.7 million gallons of water. This is where you can...
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party, and what the other? Roman Pierce. That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, let's back up a little bit. Got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my...
Grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
All right, folks, go ahead and put on those 3D glasses again for the final scene.
This is our turn. After them. Okay, guys, it's showtime. I got the bull by the horn. Now we're moving.